Guys, welcome in to yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. A very busy yesterday edition, and we'll get to everything today. The Suns get smacked around in Summer League, but there is something that did change over the offseason that we saw Gregory and Ishbia promise, as well as why is Kyler Murray judged so much more harshly than other quarterbacks in the NFL? Let's talk about it all next.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need him. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What's up, guys? Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Thank you so much for making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, potentially even tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show, as well as get a part of the conversation and follow me on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. If there's a social media platform, I am there at Ben Garcia Show. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. There's a lot of things to get into today. I just want to prep everyone for next week. I'm 95% sure I am going to take next week off. While everyone else has been vacationing and been doing all the fun things, I haven't been, and I don't like wasting your guys' time. I am not someone who is going to do a Mount Rushmore of Arizona sports. No shade to anyone else who does that. I just don't think you care. And so when I do a show, I'm not going to waste your time. If there's not anything worth talking about, I'm not going to do a show. And next week is kind of that lull. Summer League is over, where I will go ahead and take a week off before we come back. Training camp starts. I'm not 1,000% sure I'm going to do that yet because taking a break is just not in my vocabulary. But either way, appreciate you guys tuning in to the Ben Garcia Show, as well as appreciate you guys. A lot of people reached out yesterday about, going on the herd and things like that. I thank you. I'm almost a little embarrassed when it comes to accepting people just telling me, "Oh, congrats, you worked really hard to be able to get some of those moments." That is true. I've been doing this job for 8 years now, and you guys will never understand. Of course you will. That's not fair. So I take that back. I think few understand what it's like to chase a career like this, where a lot of sacrifice comes into play. I've missed, I didn't have the typical college life. I spent a lot of my time working. So it was cool, man. It was a cool experience to be able to go do that yesterday. I appreciate people reaching out, but there's a part of me that's just I don't know, man. It's just funny. I had people from high school who I haven't talked to in years tell me that they saw me on their lunch break, and it was a cool experience. It's definitely the biggest audience I've ever gotten to share what I do, but it's also it's I don't know. I don't like to be. I like the fact that I'm able to go share that stuff, but I don't like it to make it seem like everything is all about me. So it was cool, man. A lot of people reached out. A lot of people called me, texted me. I didn't promote it very much. I promoted it on this show, and I sent a tweet out 10 minutes before I went on. It was cool. If you guys are curious more about how that dynamic worked, maybe a little peek behind the scenes, I can let you know. Me and Jason were joking before I went on, as they stuck me kind of backstage when they were in commercial break. And it was we were joking about, Kevin Durant doesn't really like either of us. But yeah, if you guys are curious, I know you guys aren't super interested in my life, and I don't expect you to be. I am the talk show guy who talks about sports, and that's what my job should be. But either way, it was really cool to have you guys reach out to me, you know, say congrats or whatever, and that was really cool. So appreciate you guys telling me, reaching out and doing all that stuff. If you guys want to see the segment, I did post it on YouTube. It is like it's like the second most recent video because I obviously stagger stuff throughout the day. You guys can go check it out there and tell me how you think I did. If you don't think I did well, tell me. Like, at the end of the day, I am trying to be the best at this damn thing, especially in Arizona. And then maybe one day we take over nationally. I mean, that's a tall task, but I have crazy aspirations and dreams. So it's cool. It was cool. I really appreciate you guys. I was kind of hesitant if I was going to talk about it this morning, but either way. So it was cool. Jason reached out to me the night before and told me Colin's flight was delayed and that they pitched me as a guest. And of course, like, I only had 5 or 6 minutes of airtime, but like, let's be honest. I've been doing this. It was like 7 minutes of airtime, something like that. And it was like, 7 minutes or 7 hours or 7 hours, 7 years, 8 years of hard work to get 6-7 minutes of airtime on the herd. And if I'm being honest with you guys, well worth it. Well worth it. I would do it again because that was like a childhood dream of mine to be able to go on the herd and be a part of that show for even just a small segment. So it was really cool to have, it was really cool to have Jason, stick his neck out for me, have me on there, give me a chance to showcase my talents. And I think I did well. So apologies. I think I did well, but who really knows? You guys decide that at the end of the day. So apologies if that's not what your regularly scheduled Ben Garcia show content was supposed to be, but I got a decent amount of people reaching out to me for that. So, thanks to Jason and thanks to the herd. And I mean, I don't expect to be on there again anytime soon or have any sort of that stuff anytime soon. It's been kind of cool over the last couple of weeks. I've been doing national radio. I did national TV, obviously, yesterday. So thanks to Jason. Thanks to people who believe in me. And thanks to you guys. Because ultimately, without you guys, this show and myself wouldn't be anything. So at the end of the day, I am still someone that works another job. Well, I'm unemployed right now, but we're figuring that out. I work another job. I do this. So it's cool to have those breaks in the moments. I think the classic analogy that I wanted to, classic analogy that I keep telling people is be like, oh, you're on the big stage, look at you. And I said, yeah, this is what it feels like it was. It feels like I was a relief pitcher in baseball who's been stuck in AA because that's where I belong right now. And I got the call up to the majors for one game to help start early in a game or in the middle of an inning when you're down by 10 runs, when it doesn't really matter. And I got in. I think I did well. You maybe struck out one guy, maybe gave up a single, I don't know. And but it's back down to the minor leagues for me. I'm back down to the minors. So appreciate you guys sending in all that cool stuff. So as you guys can tell, it's a little tough for me to talk about because I don't know. I'm not that cool. Really, I'm not. You guys are the cool ones to be able to allow me to be able to do stuff like this. All right. Suns talk. So the Phoenix Suns yesterday got mollywopped. There's really no good way to say it when it comes to the Phoenix Suns and what happened yesterday against the Sacramento Kings. To be fair, that Sacramento Kings team has won the G League championship. They've got a couple of really good players. Devin Carter, Nick Clifford looks like a steal. So insane that the Sacramento Kings are able to put a team out there like that. That is the kind of tenacity defensively that I want to see the Suns play with. Just overall, the real Phoenix Suns. That's what I want to see them play with. Pushing teams around. Making it like, I can't tell you how many times last night the Suns were getting close to having 24-second violations. So that is the kind of tenacity you want to see the Phoenix Suns play with that the Kings played with last night on their summer league team. But that's not really what matters. I've seen a lot of people talk about how It was embarrassing, and it was. It was a putrid performance last night. But my thoughts on players like Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, Kaman Malawach, Kobe Brea, Rasheer Fleming haven't changed. Guys, at the end of the day, it is a summer league game. And I've seen a decent amount of people kind of get frustrated with the fact that Malawach wasn't great yesterday. And Ryan Dunn was still awesome, which is great that Ryan Dunn is still continuously taking that next step. And Oso wasn't great. And Kobe Brea turned from Devin Booker to we have Devin Booker at home. And Rasheer Fleming in his first game was he looked like it was his first NBA-like environment. What I was trying to tell people yesterday on Locked On Suns is like, cut the guy a little bit of break. Everyone has either had, for the most part, Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro, who have played a full NBA season and know how fast the game is, or someone like Kobe Brea or Kaman Malawach, who have at least played one, or in Kobe Brea's case, 2 games, to where they understand, oh, game's really fast now. Give Rasheer Fleming a game to be able to adjust and understand, oh, this isn't St. Joe's basketball. This is fast, this is competitive, and dudes are going to push you around. So as much as I liked what I saw from Rasheer Fleming offensively, hitting the three-point shot, and he did flash a couple of moments defensively. He did get a block last night. I'm not super concerned with him. Here's the big change that is something that was promised from Brian Gregory and Matt Ishbia. And it's not necessarily in the front office, not a lot of change there. It's a lot of actually more of the same with Matt Ishbia. Watching Rasheer Fleming last night, my guy Logan Mayer in the chat, what's up, brother? Sorry I missed your wedding. As you could tell earlier, I lost my job, so that sometimes has something to do with it, but good to see you, man. You look at Rasheer Fleming, you look at Kaman Malawach, you look at Nick Richards, Mark Williams, Ryan Dunn, Dylan Brooks. The biggest thing for the Phoenix Suns that has changed is they are no longer a small basketball team. And to be fair, over the last couple of seasons, they were incredibly small. They were rolling out Tyus Jones and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal in the 1, 2, 3 spots. And that can't happen for a team that got pushed around and bullied. The biggest thing for the Phoenix Suns that has changed ultimately over from last year to this year is the fact that they're a massive team. Watching Rasheer Fleming last night, the one most encouraging thing from him is he's 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan, and he looked every bit of that. Every bit of that. He did not look like a small player. So if the Suns could figure out a way to play with the same tenacity that we saw last night that the Kings played with, or that the Oklahoma City Thunder played with defensively, or the Minnesota Timberwolves defensively, the NBA has changed from a league that is superbly offensive to, you can kind of push guys around a little bit more. My opinion has changed on that, where defense can win you championships. Now, ultimately, it's offensive that is going to keep you in games and keep up scoring with other teams, because overall scoring is still up in the NBA. If the Suns can play with that kind of tenacity and that kind of length, you're talking about a team that can push around other teams or make other teams jump shooting teams and not want to come into the paint. With Mark Williams, Kaman Malawach, Nick Richards, Oso Ighodaro, Rasheer Fleming, Ryan Dunn, this is a big basketball team. And it's going to allow players like Devin Booker ascend, I think, into that 2021 level where he's not getting pushed around. He doesn't have to worry about being a defensive mastermind. Those are going to get covered up by guys like Malawach, Rasheer Fleming, Ryan Dunn, and hopefully even Mark Williams. So if there's one thing I saw last night, it's the big length and height of the Suns team. Again, nothing is changing the Suns about being title contenders for the next couple of seasons. But can they disrupt the way other teams play? Can they push around other teams? That's what's going to be the most important. And when I see the Suns be able to come out and play big, like you're talking about a lineup that realistically you could run out Malawach, Rasheer Fleming, Ryan Dunn, Devin Booker, Jalen Green. And you're like, I think Jalen Green is a better defender than we give him credit for. Devin Booker cannot be a minus defender if he's got other guys around him. And then the other three dudes, Fleming, Dunn, and Malawach, can be defensive maestros. And that's what's important. It's not about watching Summer League last night and seeing the Suns get blown out. Guys, truly, I don't really care. It was a bad performance, and everyone should have to play again on Wednesday as a punishment. But it's like in spring training baseball, when Corbin Burns goes out and gets lit up for 8 runs in his first outing as a Diamondback. But then you look at the stat sheet, and he threw 50 curveballs. You're trying to work on the things you don't do well at. Ryan Dunn should not be shooting 6 threes in any basketball game, but he did in the last game, or he did in his first game, because he's there to work on those things. I'm not going to hit the panic button. Suns got beat up last night. It's what happens. It's Summer League. It's not that important. What's important is, okay, now I know why Nick Richards and Mark Williams are here. Now I know why Rasheer Fleming is here. Malawach is going to need a little bit of time. And the Suns need a true 4. Now I know why they went and got Nigel Hayes-Davis. Just going to take a little time. Bring the temperature down. Not everything is DEFCON 1. It's a Summer League game. It was a bad performance, but everyone will play on Wednesday. Hopefully they look a little bit better. And then we go into training camp in September, if I'm not mistaken. And then we see what we have from there. But still, my thoughts have not changed. This Suns team is bigger, more athletic, and they're going to be fun to watch. Not a title contender. Not a title contender. I believe that the NBA championship for the Suns this year should be, can you take a team to 6 games in the playoffs, in the first round? That, I believe, is still a very fair assessment. Okay. Now, this is something that I'm kind of interested in talking about a bit. Well, not kind of. Obviously, if it was on the show, I'm very interested in talking about it. However, yesterday, ESPN, and I'm sure many of you guys have seen this, ESPN had put out a list yesterday of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL as ranked on by scouts, coaches, and executives. It's actually a really good list. Let me list you out the 10. So before I even read it, it's nice to know that in any order, we have Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar, Allen. Put it in any order you want. For me, it'd probably be Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar. It's so interesting. You know, on the Cardinal Squad show, we have an offensive lineman who does the show with us that we're doing on Locked On Cardinals Tuesdays and Thursdays, which I definitely should have told you guys about, but that's something that we're also doing. You know, he had mentioned just how good Joe Burrow is, and it has really skewed my thought process of Joe Burrow because someone who's played with him. But it's Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. That's your top 4. Let's not argue about it. You can put it in any order you want, but I think for the most part, that is the correct order. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar. Jaden Daniels is number 5. I mean, it does feel a little high for a guy that, yes, he was awesome last year, but still feels like, it feels like we're pushing the button a little too fast for a top 5 guy. 6, Stafford, who I think should probably be 5. 7, this is the guy we're going to get to in just a second. Justin Herbert, whose highest ranking was 3, and his lowest ranking was unranked. Jared Goff was at 8. Jalen Hurts was at 9. Baker Mayfield is at 10. And Jordan Love and CJ Stroud were honorable mentions. So it's no surprise Kyler Murray wasn't on this list. There should be no surprise that Kyler Murray wasn't on this list. However, it is really interesting to see how Kyler Murray is judged and other quarterbacks aren't. This isn't just a Kyler Murray special. he's not the only one that is judged harshly. But it does feel like Kyler Murray is uniquely judged in the NFL quarterback landscape. Because Kyler, when you look at him, again, hasn't won a playoff game, but he has been to the playoffs. He has been an MVP candidate for a 11-week stretch in the 2021 regular season. And he's superbly talented. He's one of the best runners in the NFL, incredibly agile, throws the ball with incredible touch with the deep pass. Like, when people try to tell me I'm anti-Kyler Murray, it's just nuts, man. I say this all the time, but I'm going to keep on saying it until I'm blue in the face. Kyler Murray, if he is good, my life gets better. Way better. I'm not rooting for Kyler Murray to not succeed. Now, I am skeptical about Kyler Murray's success this year because of the fact that, guys, my guy Michael in the chat makes a good point. It's been 6 years, no playoff wins. At some point, he does need to actually win a playoff game, make some noise in the playoffs. But there is some real, like, legitimate excuses why Kyler Murray hasn't got there. I understand Cliff Kingsbury is potentially a good offensive coordinator with the Commanders. Once again, I'm not going to give Cliff all the success for Jaden Daniels. The dude did win a Heisman in college. But Cliff Kingsbury was an abysmal head coach. He was abysmal. He's never had a very good defense. This year, he might have that. It's third year of Jonathan Gannon. To be completely fair, Jonathan Gannon, in his third year, is expected to be a quote-unquote playoff team, right? A fringe playoff team. So if this was Kyler's first coach, you'd say, okay, well, third year, let's see what you can do. But because of all the other issues in the past, you do have to give Kyler Murray a little bit of a break. But it is interesting to see how much harshly he's judged. Let's just take Justin Herbert, for example. In the ESPN top 10 quarterbacks, ranked by scouts, executives, and coaches, Justin Herbert peaked at the number 3 ranking, but eventually falling at the 7th best quarterback in the NFL. What if we just stacked up Kyler Murray and Justin Herbert's careers? Neither guy has a playoff win. In fact, I'd argue Kyler Murray's playoff loss was more excusable than Justin Herbert's playoff loss. Justin Herbert lost to Trevor Lawrence. He blew a 27-7 lead, if I'm not mistaken. A massive lead evaporated by Trevor Lawrence, who half of the NFL is just out on. Kyler Murray lost to the eventual Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford. Like, no loss is a good thing. However, it's not like Kyler was lost to Trevor Lawrence and blew a big lead. Justin Herbert and Kyler Murray have both accomplished the same amount in the NFL, squat. And one guy, because he's 6'5", peaks at number 3 on the ESPN top 10 list and eventually lands at number 7, ahead of guys like Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, all who have more playoff wins or have a Super Bowl MVP to their name. It's astonishing the way we favor players like Justin Herbert and not fawn over someone like Kyler Murray. Kyler does have all the tangibles. Throws a great deep ball. He's more athletic than Justin Herbert. He's faster than Justin Herbert. He's more agile than Herbert. He's accurate. But because he's 5'10", we're just like, yep, we're done. Both guys have had subpar head coaches to start their career. Cliff Kingsbury, Brandon Staley. Both guys went to the playoffs and firmly embarrassed themselves, either by blowing a massive lead or getting blown out. It's just interesting to see how much differently that we judge these two guys. There is no argument that you can make, none, zero, that Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray, and then it be based off fact. It would just be an opinion. And the opinion would be, well, one is 6'5", the other one's 5'10", so I like him better. When Kyler has also won a Rookie of the Year, he's been a Pro Bowler twice. He's been a good quarterback in the NFL. But because he's smaller, we're going to take Justin Herbert. It truly is fascinating because I'm not a Justin Herbert hater at all. Justin Herbert has been someone that I rooted for out when he came out of Oregon because I knew he was going to be a good quarterback. You know, my guy in the chat, Aaron, debatable about intangibles. You just described tangibles there. Okay. Kyler Murray over the last 2 seasons has been a much more mature quarterback. That is not debatable. You can argue if he's been as mature as Justin Herbert, and sure, give the nod to Herbert. But Kyler, especially last season, has really turned a new leaf on maturity. That is just something we have to be fair about. We can't just push Kyler to the side because we don't like the fact that he was a selfish player for the first couple years of the season. I don't care when the light comes on, but I just care that the light came on. So all I'll say is it's just interesting to see how we judge these guys because one is much shorter than the other. And Herbert, being someone whose playoff appearance was just as embarrassing as Kyler Murray's, and we just sweep it under the rug. 27-7 lead. And Trevor Lawrence comes back and beats them. It's crazy, man. My guy in the chat, we're debating maturity. Yeah. As the quarterback, I do care about maturity. You have to be a leader. And Kyler Murray, as of last season and the season before, has turned into a much more mature quarterback, especially as a person. Was he kind of bratty to start his career? Yeah. But it changed. And so, overall, at the end of the day, that's what matters. I don't care when the light comes on, I care that it comes on. You can argue Herbert's a little bit more mature, but still. Kyler, yeah, Aaron, Kyler continues to talk about his high school accomplishments. Dude, that was like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Like, we do have to move on from that. I'm not trying to sit here and be like, I am super pro Kyler Murray. I am incredibly concerned about what he's going to do this season. But it's interesting to see how much harshly he's judged than Herbert, or really anyone. Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but it took an Avengers-level team and a new team overall and a hotshot offensive coordinator to break him out of his shell. Yeah, he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams. Go ahead and check those statistics on his Super Bowl run with the Rams. He was awful. He was not a good quarterback. At the end of the day, it's just interesting to see how ESPN judges Kyler compared to Herbert. Because Kyler, you can make an argument, same statistics, same Rookie of the Year trophy, same amount of playoff wins, Pro Bowl appearances. Both guys have been to the Pro Bowl. And yet we like one better because they're just taller. It's just interesting to me. I'm not out on Kyler, and there is a chance, and I do believe that there is a world where he can help take this team to the playoffs. But I didn't expect him to be on this list. It's just interesting to see who continues to be on it when they don't have much of a case over Kyler. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, potentially even tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show. Again, guys, thank you for all the well wishes. Thank you for all the well wishes yesterday, doing some of the cool stuff that we talked about before. Do me a favor, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the show. That's how we continue to get the Ben Garcia Show name out there. It was really fun yesterday to be able to share my takes briefly on the air on a very popular sports show. But it's because of you guys. Because you guys continue to like, share, subscribe, watch my videos, show up on social media, and that's awesome. Maybe one day this becomes a full-time job for me. That's the dream. and then I'll just be your guys' little sports content guy every single day. So do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, potentially tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show, as well as follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. And I tried to get back to all of you guys yesterday. Some of you guys messaged me. Some of you guys added me. If I didn't get back to you, message me or at me again. I will definitely say thanks because of you guys, I get to do stuff like this. So until tomorrow on the Ben Garcia